And the thing is, I still want to be you, but I have like this split personality, right? I mean, I don't know, Jekyll Hyde, you pick it, whatever it is. Because as I said earlier in the show today, I have this messy piler personality because I never have enough time.
Yes.
And then, but at the same time, I hate working in my office or in my house. If things aren't neat, I feel anxious and agitated all the time. So it's a really juxtaposition on how do I find the balance between my own two personalities. I think I'm the messy person and the neat person. It's very confusing.
Unleash your potential with MetaMindSream, disrupting possibilities. Dive into the fusion of positive neuroscience and business strategies with Scottlin and Dr. Lyman Montgomery. Break free from limiting beliefs, expand extraordinary lives, and boost business profitability.
Welcome back to MetaMindSream. I'm here. My name is Scottlin with Dr. Lyman Montgomery. Hello, Lyman.
Hello, it's always a pleasure, Ann.
Always. So excited about this show today and some of the fun things we're going to be talking about. MetaMindSream is a show about disrupting what's possible. And when we first chose that subtitle, we had a long conversation, you and I, about whether that was positive or negative.
Yes.
And we went with, it's not that it makes things impossible, it's what makes things possible in your mind. So we all have limited by our own mind what we see as possible in life. Let's disrupt that. Let's take our business to the next level. Our company, Focused MetaMindset, is all about profitability simplified. And we do that by combining the principles of positive neuroscience with actionable business strategies, right, Lyman?
Yeah, it's all about how do we get things done. At the end of the day, hit the bottom line.
Absolutely. And that's why I love what I love so much about today's topic, because the question is for today, what is the easiest step to maximize productivity and sales? What is the easiest step? Everybody always wants to know, what is the easiest thing I can do for the greatest return? So we're going to be talking about that in our business segment today. So let's just jump right to it. When we talk about what is the easy way to maximize productivity in sales, you're going to talk a lot today about being organized. Is that right?
The principle, the foundation is organization. Let me ask you this question, Ann. Have you ever dealt with someone or you ask them for something, they're like, it's here somewhere. I just had it. And they're shuffling papers and they're, basically looks like to turn in and hit their office. And they're unable to put their finger on a document that they just had because they didn't have a good organizational system. And so today in the segment on business, we'll talk about 5 organizational type personalities. And this is also good because it ties into our assessment.
Ooh, yes. Yay. So excited to bring that into it.
Yeah.
And then also ties into meta mindset around when we talk about being organized and the work that takes. Also, how do we deal with overwhelm, or what I call the overwhelm fantasy? Now, you're
Love
a busy person, and I'm a crazy busy person, and my feet are only on the ground half the time because the rest I'm in a plane. So we can all give way, if we're not careful in our business, to overwhelm fantasy. So we can talk a little bit more about that as well. But before we do that, we just want to thank you all for being here with us today on MetaMindSream. Do us a great favor and send this link to someone who would enjoy our chat. And also like and subscribe on whatever platform you are watching us on or listening to us on today. We would be super grateful for that. We're going to go into our business section of actionable steps, and then we'll follow that with some life and lifestyle conversation about the same thing. We always have a good time. We have to take a really quick commercial break, so hold that thought, and we'll be right back.
Unleash the power of strategic neuroscience with Focused MetaMindset Inc. Boost your decision-making, sales, sustainable growth, and customer engagement. Scan the QR code now for an exclusive consultation. Elevate your profitability with Focused MetaMindset Inc.
Welcome back to Focused MetaMindStream. I'm Ann Scottlin here with the Dr. Lyman Montgomery. Lyman, today we are talking about what is the easiest step to maximize productivity and sales. And we're going to have some actionable steps that you're going to share with us.
Yes, yes. Organization, organization, organization. It is the number one step that any person can take, and it's the easiest step to take. Now, it's based on what we call 5 personality types. For example, we're going to talk about maybe 3, get to 4 of them, but there's actually 7 of them. But we'll deal with 3 to 5 of them, depending on how much time we have. So the first one is a filer. This is a person that they love their color-coded folders, right? So they got a blue one, they got red, green, fuchsia.
I know this person.
Outside of the boring manila folders, right? So they love putting things in file folders. So they're called filers. And for them, it's about keeping a file. They put nice little, they even got label makers, okay? And they love those files and they color code them so they don't have to think about it. And it works for them. The second type of personality.
Oh, I got to go back. I got to just go back before we move on, because label makers, one of my favorite episodes on The Big Bang Theory is when Sheldon has his label maker and he's going around labeling everybody's stuff. So I think he would be considered a labeler.
Yes. It's amazing because I actually purchased me one of those real fancy label makers. And I put labels on everything. So I'm laughing because I can relate to that episode.
And I just saw that yellow file folder go flying across the screen.
So, yeah, the second type of person is what you call a piler. These are the individuals that they got piles of paper everywhere on their desk. They say, don't touch it. I know where everything is at.
I did though.
Uh-oh. Are you a witness? Uh-oh. Did I hit a nerve, Ann?
This is my weakness. I'm a piler because I can't stand the inaction of sorting. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. And so then the third type is what we call binders, okay? Binders are the ones that they love putting things in a binder. They will invest hundreds of dollars in binders and sheet protectors, and because they love books and they have them, they got a binder for the last 10 years of taxes, finances, so they can pull it out and it's in a nice binder and it tells them everything that they need. Well, you can't really see it, but anyhow.
There we go. Yes.
And so I'm kind of like stuck between a filer and a binder.
And a binder. I've tried binders. It clearly isn't my favorite type. But I would say I have a little bit of affinity towards binders, but not literal ones, virtual ones, which is file folders.
That works. Yeah.
On the computer or on, say, Google Docs, right?
Yes.
So it can be very effective. My only problem is I'll create so many layers of folders that I can't find anything.
Right. And that's perfect because it leads us to the third type of person, which are boxers. These are individuals that isn't a box. They got shoe boxes, they got decorative boxes, and
they got all those plastic bins everywhere.
Yeah, plastic bins, exactly, stacked up, and they just put it in a box. But that works for them because they can take the boxes, they can store them in a closet, but as long as they have a label on them, they know exactly what's in the box. And then you have those, we get a little bit more high tech. And these are what you call your photographers. You ever know you go to a conference and the person says, well, I'm not going to take notes. They just pull out their phone and take a snapshot of the screen. I call those photographers because they want to be able to go back and review the pictures, and it works for them. So again,
I can be a little bit of a photographer. So here's why, though, because for some reason, against all the efforts of my homeschool teacher in elementary, I have the most terrible penmanship of anyone you have literally ever met. I cannot even read my own handwriting. The other problem with but I'm an obsessive note taker. So the other problem with that is that I am very slow writer. So if I'm in a conference or a lecture, I get frustrated really fast. And so I've now resorted to being a photographer.
I was getting ready to say, now, next to the photographer is the recorder. The recorder is the person that uses his or her or their device to record everything. They send note memos. They might purchase a transcribing services so they can literally, a text or speak to text type software. The reason this is important with organization is, notice, we got to get away from this one size fit all mentality. No, it's based on your personality. If you are a piler, all I say is combine the piler with the boxer. All right. So let's get you some nice decorative boxes. Let's also get a label maker, put a label on there. And maybe you just put like bills in one box. Maybe you put something else so you can segment your box. Is still organization.
Okay, I have an objection for the boxing. So I've tried this. I have had all those desk trays. I have had different boxes on my desk with different labels on them. What's funny is I hate clutter, even though I'm a piler. But my personality is most happy when it's neat. However, if I get a bill in the mail, which I've tried to make them all virtual now, but there's still a few things that come. If something comes through in the mail, I put it in the pile because I'm very visual and I have to see it. If I put it in anything with a lid, I will completely forget by this evening that I have a bill. I have to have it. So my challenge with boxing has been like, I will never open the box.
So here's the key. Remember, you have to merge certain things. So what you would do is you get a file and you stack it in the box and you agree, I only put the lid on the box when things are done. And now I put the lid so I can store the box away. So you keep the lid off the box, which again is a great metaphor for meta mindset, going beyond. So rather than putting the lid and saying it's done, you don't put a lid on it. So you might, for example, you might say, okay, how do I organize the box? Okay. And that's where you spend time. If you are a true boxer, you figure out a way. If I need to retrieve something quickly, how can I retrieve it in the box? Okay. And I would say to you is figuring out a way that you can keep your box, keep your piles, right? Another fantastic.
Okay, I got to jump in though. I got to jump in. Okay. So the other thing, I'm just going to be your devil's advocate and do all the objections today. Is the other thing is time and energy. And we're going to get more to that in a minute. And how do you stay organized, but also monitor your time and energy output?
Absolutely.
So here's the thing. So whenever I have created files or boxes or binders, I have a very strong, from both parents, OCD in me. So here's what happens. I'm either a piler or I'm a boxer. And when I'm a boxer, I could spend 3 days organizing things alphabetically by the tabs. And then I go back through and I organize them by date in each folder. And then I go back and eventually I'm like, I got to stop. I don't have time to be organized.
Here's a suggestion, all right, for pilers. Let's do away with the boxes. You're not a boxer, all right? So I'm going to heal you of that. You're healed. What? You are not a boxer. Boxer doesn't work. You've tried it, doesn't work. It creates more of a headache. What I'm going to suggest that you mirror your pile with sticky notes and you create tabs and you put the date or whatever it is. So when you're piling, so now you just look at so you keep the piles there and now you just thumbing through the sticky notes and you can say, and then you can pull out what you need and keep your piles and put it back.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And I'm going to do that because that really does help my two personalities of being a piler. I'll call it a piler and a filer, which is similar to the boxes, right?
Yes.
So if I have a pile of files, that's still close to a box, pile of files. But yeah, the sticky note, I think with dates, sort of like deadlines, that could be very useful. And then the other thing that I'm trying to implement in my life is and this is less about being environmentally friendly, which I'd love to claim that's why, but is to getting as close to paper free as I can, because I travel so much. So since my business is always on the road, I can't really have that many paper files that I'm relying on. So I've been trying to nail it down to like this one, I have this one notepad in this leather binder and a few pockets, and everything else has to go in my filing system virtually or
so now we talk about number 6. I said there were 7, and that's a scanner. This is where you now, and they have great apps where you can actually take a picture of something and it will create a PDF of that photo. Okay. And you can create electronic files. And so what a lot of times, what I recommend clients that really love their piles of paper is scan it, take a picture of it. All right. Have it on your phone. But they have this apocalyptic feeling that if the computers took over, they wouldn't be able to find grandma's recipe. And they don't trust the crowd.
Well, I would say at that point, you've got much bigger problems to worry about.
The grandma's recipe.
Yeah, exactly.
But, we're laughing, but it's true. I've had people contact me and they're like, Lyman, this is great, but I got to have that piece of paper. It's not real if I can't touch it. People like that, and it's like, if it isn't, if they can't put their fingers on it, it really isn't real to them.
My bless her heart mama is that way. If she can't, she always, if she needs to reimburse us for something or we're paying for some service and she's chipping in because she's paying for her phone but she's under our plan, whatever, right. Paper checks in those little tiny envelopes, which I'm like, I almost lose them when I'm still in the post office. They're just these tiny little grandma envelopes. Like nobody uses those old letter envelopes anymore. And I'm like, Mom, let me introduce you to PayPal. Let me introduce you to Venmo. Let me introduce you to Zelle. Nope. I like checks. I've been doing checks since I was 14 years old, and I'll do them till the day I die.
Absolutely.
Like, no, Mom, I have to put your freaking check in a pile on my desk, and I'm trying to stop it.
Yeah. And here's the beautiful thing about all this, Ann, is what works for you. And that's the beauty of a meta mindset. It's not about what will work for the majority of people. It's about the individual. How does it feel to you? Are you in alignment? If what I'm saying, let us know. We talked about 6, there's actually 7, but we talked about 6 of the type of filing or organizing personality types, which segues nicely into, we have 5 personality type assessment called the 5 persona architecture. And if you go to our website at, if you go to our website at focusedmetamindset.com, and there's a tab there for assessment you can take. It's free, and you can find out what your persona type is, especially if you're in a team. And it's great if you own a business or you work with teams, but they can also take the assessment and figure out, what's their persona. Maybe they're a chess player, maybe they're a construction worker. Who knows?
Right. And I love the categories we've created. And this is just a little different from many of the other assessments or personality tests that you may have been swamped with over the years, because as everything with MetaMindset, it's much more intentional. So if it's a team, it's assigning roles in the team based on their personality. If you're an entrepreneur or a small business that's just starting out, or a team or a company that's just starting out, or a new group, it's about building the team by specifically recruiting those types that fit the whole. So these 5 personalities that will fit the whole with intention, because we always talk about there's always needs to be, the number keeper. There always has to be the cheerleader. There always has to be who's our objector.
Yeah, you got to have the commander.
Yeah. You got someone who's always, the person who, exactly who this person is, who's always like, yeah, but that won't work because, and that won't work because, and that they're really critical to the team.
Absolutely.
Because if we were all cheerleaders, then
and you got to have a chemist.
Done.
Exactly. I'm a chemist. I'm always cooking up something in the lab. How do we make this better? Right.
Yes.
But then you need the construction worker that says, okay, let's take it out the lab, let's pilot this thing, and let's build something. But it's also nice to have the chess player. My wife is a chess player. This is the person who's highly analytical. They're always 3 or 4 moves ahead. You know, my wife, we'll have a conversation and she's like, honey, catch up. I'm 3 conversations down the road. I'm still on the first one. I thought we were talking about eating lamb steaks, and she done moved over to something
completely on something else already. No, it's so true. It's so true. And so any of you that are watching or listening here, definitely jump on the website and take this free assessment. It's fun. And again, our website URL is focused with a D, focusedmetamindset.com. And we're talking today about the easiest steps to maximize productivity and sales. What is the easiest step? And it is getting organized. Before our break, I just want to throw in one other comment, which is when you're getting organized, if you are a little bit OCD like I am, you also especially need to make a conscious effort, not only getting organized, but how much time and energy you invest. A lot of times getting organized to me sounds so overwhelming that I never start. But if you've done the Pomodoro method or any other number like work and timekeeping management methods, that's a 20-minute segments, right? You're like, okay, every day at this time, I'm going to spend 20 minutes working on my piles, right? And energy. If you have a really big thing to get organized and your time is better used making sales, then maybe you hire someone. There are people who this is their dream in life.
Absolutely.
Come in and organize your mess. They will literally be in bliss the whole time. It's worth every cent. So hire someone. If the energy output is not equitable to how you use your time to make money, then get help with it also. And then the thing I touched on earlier, which is watching out, watching out for that overwhelmed fantasy. A lot of us don't get started because we think we'll be so overwhelmed. And it's taking that small bite-sized steps. I literally use a timer on almost a daily basis and sometimes many times a day because it gets me started. I am one of those people that once I started, try to stop me. You know, you send my emails at 2 a.m. in the morning. But getting started, I get this overwhelmed fantasy like, oh yeah, but I have all this and I have this and I have this, I have this. And I'm like, okay, setting my freaking alarm for 20 minutes and I'm going to work on this for 20 minutes. After that, if I do nothing else on it, that's fine. But today I'm doing this. So find tools and techniques to really help you maximize your time and energy. All right, we have to run out for a quick break. As always, time is flying because we're having so much fun. So stay tuned. We're going to jump into our MetaMindset lifestyle segment next and talk about messy people versus neat people, how to find a balance. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Unleash the power of Focused MetaMindset lunch and learn sessions. Sharpen problem-solving skills, spark innovation, foster collaboration, and build adaptability and resilience. Elevate your team's success and profits. Discover more at www.focusedmetamindset.com.
Welcome back to MetaMindSream. I'm Ann Scottlin here with my partner, Dr. Lyman Montgomery. And today on Focused MetaMindSream, we are talking about the MetaMindset and how we use it to maximize our productivity and sales. We've talked about what is the easiest step. The easiest step, if you could only take one to maximize productivity and sales in your business, it really is organization. And we've talked about all of that in our business segment. And now it's going to leak over into our MetaMindset lifestyle segment, which is messy people versus neat people, finding the balance. Lyman, do you know any couples like this?
Whew. I hate to admit it, probably too many couples that one is messier than the other. I think if I look at, I just use myself as an example, right? My wife will tell you that I'm probably OCD when it comes to neatness and organization. I'm the type of person to open up our linen closet, all the sheets, all the towels are folded exactly the same way. They got that nice little fold. They're color coordinated. Before I got married, my wife would come. We were engaged. She would come and visit. And I had my canned goods organized. As she looked at me and she was like, "Should I be concerned? Is this an expectation you're gonna have of me?" The laundry the same way. I have a certain way. Now, does that mean that my wife is messy? No, not at all. It just simply means that in my mind, I have a certain way that I like things to be done. And so the compromise in our relationship is I do the laundry, I do the dishes, and she does the cooking. And, so that way we don't have to have a unproductive conversation like, "Well, honey, how come you didn't fold my pants this way or the sweater this way?" So I'm probably that neat freak.
And the thing is, I still want to be you, but I have like this split personality, right? I mean, I don't know, Jekyll Hyde, you pick it, whatever it is. Because I said earlier in the show today, I have this messy piler personality because I never have enough time.
Yes.
And then, but at the same time, I hate working in my office or in my house. If things aren't neat, I feel anxious and agitated all the time. So it's a really juxtaposition. And how do I find the balance between my own two personalities? I think I'm the messy person and the neat person. It's very confusing. But and the same is true, even with friends and projects, community projects, in offices, in any other group where you have tasks. There's always that messy person and the neat person. I know, we've worked on a lot of retreats together, and I've worked on a lot independently, as I'm sure you have as well. And one of the challenges is always like the order of the day, because and it always seems that whoever the person is, like the guest speaker, is someone who demands that there be massive flexibility.
Right.
But then there's the timekeeper, the coordinator, who everyone in the group at the resort is coming to, saying, "What time does this start? What time does that start? When will we have done this? I have to make a phone call." And it's like, because you have kind of the messy time people and the neat time people. I think that's a great example of
another example is thinking. You have some people that have messy thinking versus those that are very methodical, very neat, very concise in how they're able to get an idea out. And to give you a good example, we worked with a client that was having major issues with the distributor, right? And it was becoming very messy. And it was starting to affect her. And she started, having a messy mindset. And we had to, course correct her to get back into, there are other distributors out there. Let's take time, let's explore different avenues rather than being married to this one that was just messy, was treating her wrong.
Absolutely. And this goes back again. To the assessment. I loved your illustration, though, of messy thinkers and neat thinkers. How we, people who are very scientific and mathematical, and that everything is very structured and organized, even in the way they think. My father was an aerospace engineer, and he is just like that. I mean, it's hard to talk to him because there's so much dead time, because he forms these complete, and I never stop talking, so it's a challenge. He needs dead time to form these complete and very meticulous sentences before he speaks them. It makes me almost crazy, but that's how he thinks. He's like, speaking is pointless unless it has purpose, meaning, intention, the sentences structure is organized. So there's kind of that example of extremes, but also the people you need, assessment-wise, personality-wise, on your team. Because you need people who are taking care of the books and the paperwork, who are very structured. And then you also need people who think super outside the box, which is not usually the accountant personality, and not as often, who, are either, the construction worker, we call them, or the chess player, or both, where it's like grabbing ideas and pulling things together. It's just like, those old talk show things when I was a kid. They had like the money going around in a big
Yes.
spinning thing, and you're like grabbing all the money. It's kind of like that. It's like, oh, well, this doesn't even anything to do with product we're selling, but what if that might work? Or what if this could be, what if this way of doing things for this other completely different industry was overlaid onto our industry? Could we make that outside? And if you had all of the dreamers, the people who are like ideas, but they didn't have the follow through of the team members who organized, who are keeping the books. This is where a lot of entrepreneurs suffer, because they tend to often be more one or the other. So you have, not to be rude, but you have sort of the pie in the sky entrepreneur who literally has a million ideas, but they can never follow through or stay structured or make money because they don't have the organizational skills. So they need to pay into their team that personality. Even that doesn't have to be a full-time employee, everyone. That can literally be a subcontractor. It could be, there's so many ways to do it. It could be their spouse, who knows? And vice versa. If someone's an entrepreneur, but all they do is very methodical, they're probably not trying new and different ways to expand their product and service and make it more attractive to the public. So again, if you guys jump into our free assessment online, you'll have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. And sometimes, going back to the assessment of the construction worker will get messy. If you ever seen those remodeling shows, before you get the final product, it looks like a tornado hit, because they got to bring in a demolition crew. Wires are everywhere, debris is everywhere, but in their mind, they're like, "Oh, this is where we're gonna have the swimming pool. We're gonna have the wet bar over here," and all you're seeing is a pile of debris. But they're able to say, "I know it looks like a mess now, but this is what it can be." And so that's why a lot of times when we deal with clients that have messy thinking, we become that construction worker of saying, "Yeah, you're messy right now. Your language is messy, but boy, I see you said something, and all we need is that spark." And then we begin to build upon that. And I think that's where, again, and you have mastered this, of looking at particularly women that feel that their lives are messy. And you're like, "No, they're not messy. It's a mosaic."
Yes, it's great. We're creating art here.
We're creating art. Yes.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And you can bring all the different elements of your life together to create something unique. And that's why we all bring such an unique aspect to our position in our community, in our corporation, in our entrepreneurial service or product. It's because you are a total of all your parts. You're a total of all your experiences, all of your practice, all of your training, of your personality, of everything, which actually makes life a whole lot more exciting than just, everybody being cookie cutters. I'm so against that. As you know, I spent the first portion of my life in that environment, and I am so done.
Oh, I have a friend often says, "Stick a fork in me, I'm done."
I absolutely love that. Well, we're going to have to wrap up already. I hate to say, because we're having such a good time.
Yes.
But we hope you all enjoyed today's episode about disrupting what's possible, and in particular with finding the balance, finding organization in your business and in your life. We would love to hear your stories, your suggestions of topics, your response to our episodes. So please shoot us an email. Our email's been streaming here, or you can find it in the notes, or pop over to our website, focused with the D, metamindset.com. You can message us directly from there. We'd absolutely love to hear from you. Our fans and clients are the people we have the most fun with in the world. And you can tell we already have fun. So the more the merrier. Bring it on. We would love to have your questions and comments. And please do share the link today with someone who might enjoy our chats, benefit from these business tips, and what we're teaching around neuroscience to help you be more profitable, but also be happier. So thank you, Lyman. It's been so much fun today. Thank you for all your amazing insights, as always, as well. Thank you so much. Everyone join us next week, streaming on Tuesdays. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.